Hey guys, and welcome to the magical realm of the Lizardmen. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and today we're fighting on the glorious Battle of Itza as the Old Ones look down upon petty mortals and petty demons in disgust and laughter as they fight for a cause that is not the great plan, but we shall certainly enjoy the showcase nonetheless. Now, I am playing in charge of the mighty forces of Nurgle, up against, I believe my opponent was called Whiskers, or Whiskies, something along those lines, and his Grand Cathay forces. And there's a story behind this. We'd actually just played twice on ladder before this, and then bumped into each other for the third time, and it was currently 1-1. My opponent defeated me in the first game, and I was tilted. 3 of my units died to a vortex, because they did not want to follow instructions and get out of there. I reaped bloody revenge in Game 2. We're hopping into Game 3 now for that ultimate showdown. For my forces, I have a load of Forsaken dotted all the way along the front line here. Forsaken very good up against Grand Cathay. You can beat back Jade Warriors and flank and apply pressure to the ranged troops as well. For some hippity-hoppity Plague Toads looking in the trees, one on the other flank as well, and a rather nasty little hero in Lordclaw. So we have double Cultist and Nurgle, which is often picked by everyone. Oh my god, look how disgusting and diseased these poor lads are. But more importantly, I'm bringing a lord that you see quite often, the Herald of Nurgle, though the Exalted Great Unclean One is unbelievably overpowered, probably the best lord in the game. I don't think he's good on this map in this matchup, because he's simply going to get shot to pieces by cannons. We have the Herald of Nurgle, and we're bringing him on his cheeky little throne. This makes him almost unkillable. He is disgustingly durable on this bad boy. He has, of course, the base heal. We have Stream of Corruption, which is perfectly fair and balanced, like all things should be. Miasma of Pestilence, as well as Fleshy Abundance. So certainly should be a good, fun scrap. As for my opponent, he has double Longmar Riders up in the skies, 2 of the bad boys. He does have 2 Jade Warriors on the low ground, supporting double Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen. Now, the fact you can have larger starting armies and get a bit of funds early doors means you can summon in a lot of reinforcements like these Jade Lancers to keep those guys firing for as long as possible. We have Miao Ying, the evil lady herself. At least I think she's evil in this kind of battle because, of course, I'm against her. Coming in with all the nastiness, Talent of the Night, and, of course, her base abilities. And she instantly transforms into a dragon. Now, the Longmar's Riders are going to be delving down onto the Hippity-Hoppities, which is really good target priority by my opponent, and not too fun for me whatsoever, because we're going to get destroyed relatively easily there. I do pull back with some of my Forsaken as the dragon comes in, and there's a lot of crossbow bolts really lighting my ass up on fire, and then a Vortex spell comes in as well. Luckily, I'm able to pull back and attempt to dodge the worst of the spell. Unfortunately, some of us are getting sucked in to the evil clutches of the dragons from eons past. So I've had enough of this already. I'm being cycle charged. It's a hot game, hot and testy, because we've already gone 1-0, and it's getting pretty vicious. So I'm looking just to bomb rush aggressively forward as much as possible. We do have some Jade Lancers here, and we're going to sandwich them, but in our own set, kind of catching ourselves in our own trap, but also going to be sandwiched by another unit of Jade Lancers, but then we're going to trap them by coming in with some more Plague Toads and some more Forsaken, so it's just an absolute flustercluck down here on the front lines. Great Longmars are lurking behind us. We do summon 1 unit of Rotflies, which trade relatively okay into Great Longmars, at least from a previous experience. Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen have been able to fire relatively consistently now. Now, we do have some Toads starting to make their way around the flank to hop in the back, though my opponent is constantly summoning Jade Lancers at the moment to try to keep those guys active and healthy. Forsaken driving hard into the enemy back line, as well as a cheeky summon is going to be coming down. The mighty Miao Ying, master of storms, dragons from eons past, can barely leave a dent in our mighty chonky boy on his glorious chair. He is so tanky like this, I promise you. He just does not take damage or die. He's actually trading relatively cost-effectively into Miao Ying at the moment, who's suffering quite badly from getting 2v1'd by the Cultist and the Herald. The Toads are trying to make a desperate push onto the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen, who've done some really nice damage so far. It looks like our summon is being caught up on the Great Longmars here, and even more Lancers being summoned, and it looks like we have our first artillery piece of the day in the form of the Great Cannon. I like my opponent bringing this in this kind of mid-game at the moment, lacing shots down onto the Plague Toads, doing some pretty huge damage. We also have a cheeky unit of Jade Lancers heroically charged in an attempt to save the Crossbowmen, who are going to be able to hold their own. They don't have terrible melee stats, they're very elite, and the Toads are quite weak and beat up at the moment, particularly from the added fire of that Grand Cannon. It's not looking too good for me at the moment. So we have been able to capture most of the objectives, or at least start to dominate them a little bit, trying to capture 2 at the moment. And Jade Lancers starting to get bogged down by Forsaken, which is not a good fight for them. They need to be psycho charging in and out of these engagements, and they'd be absolutely fine. With the cultists in here, we're poisoning them, slowing them down, sundering their armor, and starting to chew through them. We do have some Pox Riders as well as Chaos Furies summoned on the battlefield, looking to push back and try to shut down the cannon. Looks like the Pox Riders are actually going to change target here, allowing the Furies to delve down into the Grand Cannon, and then the Sails are going to be realigning themselves to try to jump on top of the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen. But the Great Longmire Riders, my opponent was really on top of his micro of these bad boys, and has done a fantastic job so far protecting the crossbowmen. I've put so much pressure into shutting them down. It looks like Jade Lancers will intercept the Pox Riders, so we are able to delve onto the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen at least for a while, shut them down, and hopefully do some nice damage. But then the Longmires hit us in the rear and trap us once more, and this unit dies very, very quickly. Objective 1 is ours. We had some haggard Forsaken units claim. I believe we are going to send some of these back to get recouped and regenerated up. And Objective 3 is also about to be ours. So the Forsaken are taking a pounding from the cannon. Really nice arc of fire from my opponent there. Miao Ying has come out of Dragon mode, attempting to heal herself up with Regrowth. And she's actually popped a Regrowth already. You can see her healing cap there. And the Herald does not care. He does not care. He's taken barely any damage from Miao Ying. She's going to have to pop yet another Regrowth on herself. She's used so much of her magic on those spells. The cultist is currently just cheering on. Get him, lads! Get him! I believe in you, but not really looking to party too much himself. Furies have swarmed in and Forsaken, looking to break Miao Ying. Though it looks like she is going to be able to stabilize with that powerful regrowth. Now, things are looking pretty good for me at the moment. I've got 2 objectives, my opponent has none, and we're starting to get a bit of a dominant ticket lead. However, if we look at the battlefield as a whole, I'm running out of a lot of troops, and my opponent still has these double Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen constantly firing and doing massive damage. I simply cannot shut them down. I've been trying sending more and more troops back there, but it's not been working. He now has a powerful back line with the Grand Cannon fully operational, plus a Terracotta Sentinel has been summoned to the battlefield, looking to push in to the middle there. Apologies if you guys heard some background disturbance there. An incredibly disgustingly loud car is driving down the street. Some Rottflies have indeed been summoned by me once again, as well as some more hippity-hoppity Plague Toads, looking to apply a little pressure to Objective 2. I saw my opponent had summoned some Jade Warriors and was on the warpath there, so I thought, you know what, I would contest with some of my Toads and not really bother about this middle objective. I don't want to fight the Terracotta Sentinel, but I'm simply not going to. It's getting a little bit testy over here on Objective 3. My opponent does have Jade Warriors moving up there. It looks like my Forsaken push forward in an attempt to shut down the Dragon Crossbowmen and severely failing. So I summon some Plague Bearers. They cannot cap this objective. They can kill the enemy, who of course can cap this objective. And that is the main plan. I could move my Lord over there as well as Cultists, but I keep feeling like I'm so close to killing Miao Ying. She's getting more and more kind of poisoned, slow, weak. Her arms are heavy, knees weak. Something about spaghetti. She's not having a good day whatsoever, though. She is popping yet another regrowth on herself to keep her in the game. In the frontline fight, though, Rottflies are okay up against the Great Longmire Riders. And we actually are starting to break through a little bit with Pox Riders and Cultists. Maybe finally get to shut down that back line. And yeah, the Rottflies did a decent job for sure. It looks like we did actually maneuver the Plague Toads down to Objective 1, looking to just contest it for a little bit. And as long as possible, I have some more Plague Toads being summoned and waiting to give them some orders. Plus, we have Rottflies over here who can apply pressure to the Terracotta. And we are currently stalling my opponent capturing that middle objective, which is certainly nice. Now, the Cultist has driven into the back line. Cultists are so sticky. The Cultists and Nurgle, both like literally as well as metaphorically, because they just hop on top of the Giant Crossbowman. This car is not going anywhere soon, and I've stopped this entire unit from firing. Looks like the other Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen are moving over to help support. Objective 3 is incredibly hotly contested right now. These Plague Bearers have 0 capture weight. In fact, they're actually dead now, so they definitely don't have any capture weight. Jade Warriors are being back, but can I kill them fast enough to wrestle control of this objective? Once again, my opponent is still holding it. I was screaming, like, how is he capturing this off me? Of course, the Furies do not have any capture weight. We need to float over here and get rid of this unit and try to wrestle control, because my opponent right now is pushing for a triple cap, and he may well get it. Middle objective is his. Objective 2 is also his. We attempted to fight for the middle a little bit. We had Toads in here as well as Rottflies, and it simply did not work. You can see the Terracotta Sentinel is far too strong for us. So instead, going to be moving Forsaken and Plague Toads up to Objective 2 in an attempt to wrestle it off my opponent and apply a lot of pressure. Hopefully allow us to stabilize Objective 3, and we're just about doing so. The backline has been saved for my opponent. Cultist being shut down by Jade Lancers. We do finally have Furies, and my opponent has no Longmires or Jade Lancers in sight to stop them. We are able to actually shut down one unit of the Crossbowmen finally, but they've used up basically all their ammunition. My opponent did an amazing job protecting them. I was very impressed. Objective 3 has been held by us just about, though the Forsaken have now broken, and we have even more Jade Warriors starting to move in and apply a bit of pressure. We've got some Plague Toads on arrival, and it looks like Miao Ying is still going strong. She's at her healing cap. We're getting a little bit close to it as well. The Cultist is trying his heart out, and it is really a story of two disgusting plague-ridden fellas and one dragon, and the dragon is currently holding it firm. The Plague Toads moving over. It looks like the Forsaken were able to rally themselves as well and dive into those Jade Warriors. So we're going to hold that objective at least for now. And it looks like one unit of Crossbowmen is down. The second one is also starting to falter, but there is Celestial Dragon Guard on the way. Middle objective is completely Grand Cathay. There's not too much I can do about that. There's 2 units babysitting it. With Terracotta Sentinel, Jade Lancers, 2 units Jade Lancers, in fact, all now starting to push up and apply pressure to Objective 2. And a Fire Rain Rocket is active. We're currently holding on to this objective. We're actually trying to force my opponent off it and really drag down the Jade Warriors where possible. Forsaken and Plague Toad's going to do a fantastic job at doing that. We're so close to claiming it, but the opponent is on the warpath. We have even more Toads heavily hopped into the fray, and more Forsaken going over to Objective 3, which is so hotly contested. The backline's a bit of a mess for my opponent. He has managed to free up the Crossbowmen once again, which is so absurd, and we continue to fight now with the Herald up against the Miao Ying, and more Forsaken are coming in. We did get a Stream of Corruption. Unfortunately, I missed it on the cast. Down on the Celestial Dragon Guard. Look how much damage it did to them, because they were a full health unit coming in. It is a very disgusting spell, and we're actually holding this objective right now. Miao Ying cannot cap. Now we've got the Forsaken trying to fight in and beat back the Herald. There is more Jade Lancers on the warpath though, which is definitely incredibly scary. It looks like Miao Ying has been just wounded a little bit. Glorious Rot is currently focusing down all of these units, which is one of my faction abilities, plus Miasma of Pestilence. Then we have a Stream of Corruption coming in, doing some relatively decent damage, but a friendly fire. But hey, we're Nurgle, we love it. And now we have more Chaos Furies being summoned to apply as much pressure as physically possible, going after that Fire Rain Rocket. And it looks like Objective 2 is actually ours. We were able to wrestle it off my opponent. The Jade Lancers couldn't quite get the objective. We actually forced the Toads forward a bit in an attempt to block them. My opponent certainly has enough to overwhelm me here, but is it going to be enough and in enough time? We have 3,000 tickets to 1,680, and the Chaos Furies are dying to Great Longmar Riders, who are silver chevron right now. Masterful Great Longmar play, I must say. Chaos Furies are rippling to the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen once more. They are still the 2 units from the start of the battle. They've not been brought back in yet. It looks like they are starting to break and waver. Objective 3 is being held with an epic duel of the champions. Forsaken is still doing decent. We also have Plague Toads coming in, and I realize I'm about to die, and I have a load of Winds of Magic left, so I just start randomly casting as many spells as physically possible. We are able to clip Miao Ying with a Miasma of Pestilence, and we drop a Fleshy Abundance down on the Forsaken. I was at my healing caps, and there's no point healing me. Heal whatever I can physically reach. And it looks like Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, for 10,000 years she was trying to kill the Herald of Nurgle, and he said, no, not today. A classy backhand slaps the dragon across the face, and she goes down. Although it looks like the Herald may not be long for this world. Jade Lancers, a war cry ripped from their lips, vengeance in their hearts, looking to avenge their liege lord, and the Herald is cackling and running away, and we're still holding on to Objective 3 despite the cannon pressure. That Cultist Nurgle has done fantastic damage in the back, looking to drive away a lot of the Crossbowmen. Chaos Furies are delving down now onto the Grand Cannon, doing some pretty decent damage, finally shutting down this beastie up to 83 kills. Fire Rain Rocket is still active, and our opponents are applying a lot of pressure to Objective 3. Jade Warriors are on the approach, but with only a Terracotta Sentinel in here, the Plague Toads and the Forsaken are holding the line, and my opponent has done far more damage to me than I've done to them in this game, but it doesn't matter. I'm Nurgle, baby. This is what we do. We grind out the opponent with wave after wave of fleshy troops. We have some more Plague Toads on the warpath, as well as some Forsaken. Another unit of Forsaken coming in, just really trying to push as much infantry as possible over to the objectives. Somehow the Herald is still fighting strong, and it looks like with this objective just hopelessly in my grasp, the opponent decides, you know what, I'm going to throw in the towel. But well played to him. We had a good couple of games all round. The first two were pretty one-sided either way and quick, and this was a nice, juicy kind of final game to end out our, I guess, unofficial best of 3 there. But it was really good fun. I actually haven't played much Warhammer 3 for a little while, so hopping back on, doing some games myself, I really enjoyed just doing rank domination. It is really my favourite thing at the moment to do on Warhammer 3. And yeah, I haven't cast that many in recent times, domination ones. I go through phases. I do a load of domination, then a load of land battles and so on. And yeah, that felt good to be back casting some good fun competitive games. So well played once again to my opponent. I thought he did a really good job, particularly with the Celestial Dragon crossbow, and both of them getting 1.5k, and the Great Long Mars just did a really solid job protecting them. Miao Ying, 5,000 value, 3,300 on the Herald, but I think he did a good job pinning her in place. She was more important to my opponent, I think, than my Lord was to me, and particularly because she used the majority of her magic, apart from the early talents, just to heal herself, we were still able to pop Stream of Corruptions around and get a bit more influence on the actual battlefield. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you gave it a cheeky thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And feel free to leave a comment down below what you thought of the battle and what you would like to see in the future. But I can turn the links in the description to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Discord's where you can submit replays to be cast on the channel. And yeah, Patreon's where you can support the channel financially and keep us able to make these videos and keep us afloat. So massive shout out to everyone who does that already. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, guys, I'll just go through the damage value. You guys can pause on it if you have any particular standouts. I don't think there's anything too crazy here. Terracotta Sentinel, 950 value, and I was pretty impressed with the Grand Cannon, yeah, 1.6k on that bad boy. Hope you guys have a good day, though, and enjoy your weekend. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.